All right, testing. We have audio. Let me check you guys, bring you up a little bit. All right, well, we all made it. Welcome to the playground, everybody. I'm Pixie Phoenix, a variety streamer here on Twitch. Joining me tonight is Nox, a storyteller, Zack, who plays Aldrich, I play Desi, and Skot plays Memphis. And we are playing Blades in the Dark. It's now session 5. They go by so fast.
She got the characters right this week.
Well, you guys are in this right order this week.
The order's different in this game than the other one for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Well, does anybody need I guess so. The question is does anybody need a refresher on the events of last week?
I wasn't there for the last half of last week. Pixie gave me a little bit of a rundown.
Yeah.
So I got a little bit of a catch up from her, but
Yeah.
So
a storyteller catch up wouldn't be a bad idea.
So after you guys pursued a lead to expand your territory, the new acquisition of the factory with only a little bit of the old bloodshed and violence
Barely even noticed.
has left your coffers quite full. It has given you quite a bit of rep, a new piece of territory, and just maybe a new enemy out there. As the session ended last time, Desi was successful in getting open her thrice locked book, only to find that it is yet another mystery waiting to be solved. And of course, Memphis is now on the hunt for where to get his next high. So, with that said, before we move on from the recap, is anybody any shout outs we want to do, anything that we want to promote, anything, or are we ready to get down and dirty?
I would just say that it's first of the month. We've reset sub goal, so we made last month's, which was fantastic. It had been a while since that happened, so giveaway was a lot of fun this week, and just I'd like to promote, which Nox might as well, the TTRPG chat that we have open in the Discord. We are always looking for players for especially this game. It's very easy to drop in and drop out. You do not have to make a commitment. So feel free to hit up the Discord. Link is below. And yeah, we'd love to hear from you guys if you want to jump in on a session with us. Anybody else?
I will give a couple, since we were talking about that. We are still looking for definitely at least another 1 or 2 people to make regular appearances on here. Would always be nice to have a rounded group of 4 for these kind of shenanigans. And we're still looking for people for Mothership when we start that campaign. Mm-hmm. And because it's not like I have any other free nights, but I also want to give a major shout out to I am not even sure what his last name is. His first name is Felix. The Wild Sea Kickstarter that I participated in and sponsored, they just put out their 1.0 of the Wild Sea today with a whole bunch. They had like 2 different artists did entire albums around the entire thing. There's a whole bunch of new content out there for it. It is apparently a Forged in the Dark hack. So if you like what we're doing here, apparently it is very similar in play style to that. And it's an incredible setting that's unlike anything I've ever seen in the tabletop space.
Yeah, feel free to drop the link either in chat or over in Discord. I'm sure a lot of other people would be interested in that.
Yeah, and I would absolutely love to run a game, if not a full-on piratey campaign on top of a giant forest thing. So, with that said, are we ready to get a little down and dirty?
Hell yeah.
I think so.
Only a little.
I mean, not every game can be you murdering an entire room of people.
Oh, the challenge.
I was about to say, now that you've said it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so welcome everybody to our 5th session of Blades in the Dark. So, with a recap already out of the way, the question to our illustrious cult here is, what are we doing tonight? Are you guys going to go out and pursue finances? Are you going to engage in a score and try to just get some of that sweet, sweet silver? Are you guys going to perhaps go and maybe attempt to take somebody down a peg? Or is there something else that you want to pursue?
I would like to try the third one just because we've never done it.
All right.
I mean, what do you guys think?
I was gonna see what Desi's like if her book, the mystery of her book, would it be a lead to our next score?
Oh yeah, that's a good point too. What do we need to do now with the book?
So at this point, the main thing that Desi knows after having unlocked it was that the text in the book is almost incomprehensible. It is chicken scratch cuneiform writing. It doesn't even look like it was written by hand. It looks like somebody took a butcher's knife, a very small butcher's knife, and just basically just cut it onto the page. It is really brutal and almost difficult to read. But as she's flipping through the pages and going over them, there's an overwhelming feeling like the book is reaching out, and almost as if there is something within it that is either attempting to get out or attempting to pull things in.
That sounds like a great thing to mess with.
Yeah, I would think the next step if with the book, if that's what we're gonna do, would be to find someone more expert in this than us.
So so you've got a couple different things. If that is a particular score that you want to pursue, there are a couple bits of information that you know. One, you know, at least tangentially, from whence the book came. As you, once upon a time, when you were pursuing one score, found that the book's owner, that the courier who was running with the book,
Right.
When he died, his soul the bells did not ring, the spirit wardens did not come for his ghost. And as a result, you also happen to have a general idea of where the 2 people who are discussing that might be found, which in turn might lead you to a little bit more insight if you were willing to question them or break in.
In fact, the guy, let me see where he's at. And down in
Did this happen the time I wasn't here? 'Cause I don't remember.
Yes.
Yeah, that was the time you weren't here. That was the time
The guy in Swinegate Court he was in 1 Swinegate Court, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't we had left a note for him to meet us somewhere? Did that ever come to fruition. That was kind of where we left off with that. I remember Desi, by way of courier, like sent a message to him telling him to meet us somewhere, and we would look into his ghost problem for him.
That particular plot was never resolved.
And that's related to the book?
Now, the courier, his courier, was the one who was holding the book.
He's the body we came across in session 1.
And so we agreed to help him with
finding the ghost of the courier, and we think we already know where it is.
And that could possibly lead us to understanding something about the book.
Possibly.
So
the ghost might know.
The more relevant connection there would be is that the person who was sending the courier, who had the book before he was murdered, you know who that person is, or generally the whereabouts thereof.
And he's the one who's trying to hire someone to find the ghost.
Oh, so he's the guy who sent the book.
Yes.
Correct. Or that's as much as that could be theoretically learned. You don't know that as a fact.
Okay. Well, I mean, that sounds like an interesting thing to pursue.
So, are you all agreed on this matter as a decision to pursue, or is there another venue that you are interested in checking out?
Unless you wanted to save that one for when Mitchell's here, because he was part of the beginning of that one. I leave it up to you. It's just an option.
Yeah, to me, I'm basically just wanting to explore what the game offers since it's new to all of us. So that's why I said, hey, let's go pick on some other faction, because really probably wouldn't make a huge habit of that. I just wanted to see what it was like. So I really don't care.
Yeah.
We can do that, or we can pursue the book angle. I don't care. Either one is fine.
So, you were going to say something, Desi?
Just saying that I was kind of the same mind as Scott, to just kind of like, if this is something we haven't yet explored, we're early enough on to that could be a good experience.
Okay.
All right. Well, then, you have a couple different options for varying factions that you could theoretically pursue. There are the Inkraks, which you are currently neutral with, who are the journalists, the investigative reporters who are centered here in Char Hollow. There's the Lost, who you are neutral with as well, who you are currently paying a tithe to every time that you do business. So they are someone who you are currently, shall we say, subordinate to. And of course, there is the other unknown church that was attempting to be set up in your area, which you have liberated this effectory from.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like a good target.
So let me just ask a quick kind of out of game question.
Sure.
So I understand how scores help us. If we succeed in a score, we get monetary gain and all that. I certainly understand how expanding our base helps us, but how does picking on other factions help us?
So if you have a situation where you go and start sabotaging another faction, obviously your reputation with them will decrease, obviously. However, if there are other factions who are upset or irritated at them, then your actions can increase your reputation with them.
Mm-hmm.
The other side of that is, of course, is that it will act just like a score. So if they're in the middle of doing something and you decide to go pick a fight with them, and they're in the middle of doing something, and you basically kick the door into the middle and go, well, that's mine now. Obviously you're going to get the profit from that.
Okay. So obviously somebody was trying to set up a church in our turf. We probably don't like that. We could pursue that. Is there any faction that the Lost particularly do not like?
So if you are looking for something to ingratiate yourself with the lost, one of the areas, let me pull up the one of the things that is going on in the in that area there is of course a major labor movement that is there, which is always attempting to improve the lives of the citizenry there, and as such there are oftentimes raids the um, by the bluecoats. There's line breakers, there's strike breakers, there's the functional equivalent to Pinkerton attacks on some of the people who are there. One of the other major things that is an issue is that because these people are both perceived to be poor, uh, and the lost are a citizens brigade, often other criminal activities tend to try to overlook them or underestimate them. So, for instance, um, you've got in your same area uh, Ulf Ironborn. He's not a faction per se. He's more of an individual that tends to kind of rally the people around him. Um, you've got the Red Sashes and the Lamp Blacks, which even though they primarily operate out of Crow's Foot, are always both sides are always attempting to look around in the area and attempt to push out, as it were. You've also got, I would say, you've got probably a bunch of different um, meandering groups that like to come through. Given the area, and we're going to move to the big map here for just a second. So, don't freak, don't freak, don't freak, don't freak.
Whoa, whoa!
So here's one of the things about where you are that's kind of a big deal. You are just north of Iron Hook Prison, which means that you always have a lot of criminal elements who are running through there. People who are going to go see their loved ones while they're in prison, people who are getting out of prison and are fresh on the street looking for trouble. So at any given time, it's really a matter of kind of trying to pick up and be like, what are you looking for? Where are you attempting to stick your fingers in the pot? You've chosen a very wise place to start, simply because you have access to the dregs of the prison, and easily, if you really wanted to, you could move down across that bridge and into all sorts of where the food processing is, where labor camps are, things like that. There's a lot of things that are open and available to you very, very close, up to and including people who you want to fuck with. If you really want to, you could do a prison break. I don't know that I would recommend that at a tier 0, but I mean, you could.
We need to control the longshoremen union.
I mean, that is entirely the so. So there are a number of different. So on top of all of your criminal elements, there's also a lot of like labor and trade. Dockers is in fact a group of people, the hard-bitten laborers who work the docks. Um, if you're attempting to gain control over that, that is certainly a faction that you can start to attempt to move in on and attempt to try to exert some amount of authority over, or gain some kind of power over and control.
Man, we're real close to the banking quarter too.
Well, that's it. That's it. We're going to rob a bank. We're going to break somebody out of prison. We're going to take over the labor union all tonight.
I mean,
Very ambitious.
It's one big score.
So I think we should either figure out who was trying to set up shop in our turf, or just go kind of try to bust some heads on some of these minor gangs that the Lost don't like. I mean, what do you guys think?
I like pegging the other church down because they're going to start, like, we need to attract the followers. They're going to start taking from our pool.
Well, I mean, we probably hurt them very significantly when we took that route from them. But yeah, I'd be curious to know who that was trying to set up shop. I mean, we could look into that.
So, moving. Don't freak out, don't freak out, don't freak out, don't freak out, don't freak out. There we go.
Where is it?
So, if you are going to attempt to look for some information about this other church, how would you go about doing that? What would be your avenue for how you would pursue this?
We should infiltrate.
I was thinking we go back to our new little holding and talk to whoever was in charge there. I know we kind of talked to him a little bit last time, but I think we did. And we didn't get much information, but clearly somebody had organized this and they were dumping this stuff off there. So somebody who is in that group was interacting with the people at that warehouse. They had to have been. How else were they getting the money? They would not have had this offering wagon going through the area and just dumping the stuff there in that warehouse and not doing anything with it.
Not a bad point.
So you want to basically head back to the factory and talk to the people who work there and attempt to pump them for information.
I mean, at least it's a start.
Okay, so if you're going to go there to do this, what is the method you are going to do? Are you going to go there and are you demanding this information from them? Are you going and trying to kind of work it into conversation and trying to kind of swindle this information out of them slyly? Are you going to go in there and like kneecap somebody and be like, somebody doesn't talk, they're ending up like this guy?
I mean, I figured at least the initial approach, unless somebody has a different idea, would be to go in there and just say, we're the new management now, and kind of just say, okay, who were the people just ask them, just
consort.
Yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm.
And just what were you doing? How are you getting this information? Then if they kind of act belligerent or resistant or whatever, then we could take a different route. But I was just going to go in there and say, okay, the guys you were working for before
are no more.
That kind of thing. Well, yeah, like how did you interact? You know what I mean? So just kind of go in there and not make it like it's a tea party, but it's also not an interrogation yet.
Okay, so just to clarify, so you're looking for information as to who it is, or is there any other particularly pertinent information that you're looking for?
I mean, basically, my thought process is you guys were collecting money in here. Who used to come and pick it up? And you've got these Bibles in here that I assume they were storing up for distribution. Were they distributing them? Who was giving you the orders before we came along, and who was picking up the money before we came along?
All right. So, roll. I'm assuming you're going to be doing the roll for this.
If it's a consort, hell yeah, I am.
I was going to say, if you're just going in there, it sounds to me like you're going in there and trying to. You're not going in there and making demands, and you're also not attempting to persuade anybody. It sounds more like you're just attempting to kind of talk to them and be like, hey, new bosses not necessarily the same as the old bosses, but we need to find out, I want more information about what was going on. So
yeah.
So yes, I would say that is indeed consort. So the question there is, are you going to push yourself for this?
No, I will not be pushing myself the entire evening.
I'm gonna ask every time, anyways.
Okay. No,
Um,
no, I'm not even going to go for a devil's bargain or anything on that sort. I mean, this is just the first try. If this doesn't work, we can try something else.
okay,
Mhm.
then roll consort. I would
I'm
say
assuming
this
this
is.
is, yeah.
I would say this is controlled and standard.
Mm.
So, all right. So, when you're talking to the guy, he is kind of a. He's not a particularly small man. Um, he looks like maybe when he was a little younger, he was a better, maybe a dock worker. Maybe he was a little bit more active. But as time has gone on, his muscle has kind of subsided a little bit. He's gotten a little heavy. Um, he tells you that, and because we're going to use him again, um, his name is Finn Templeton, and we're going to mark him on the crew.
Okay.
Actually, that would be under factions. Excuse me. Institution clocks. Finn tells you about a guy who is known as TikTok because he's always on time.
Hmm.
And that he's normally the guy who is running the carriage for a group called the Throne of Judgment. Finn tells you that he's like, try to come in here, try to tell us these things, try to talk to us about what's in their books, trying to get us interested in it. But he goes, most of the guys who worked here, he's like, they're not worried about the afterlife. They're worried about their life right now and how shitty it is. And he says, the only other thing that I can tell you is that why he wasn't with it last time, I could not tell you. But when TikTok's running, usually when he's coming by and the guy looks up and there's a clock up on the wall, and he goes, "You've got about an hour before he should be crossing Char Hollow Bridge."
To come here.
Maybe he's gonna try to come here. Although, if I would imagine, he's like, if he comes here and he finds out that that we're not doing the work that we're supposed to be doing, that he's gonna be having an issue with us.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
He says, but he should be, unless something has changed, or you've scared them off with taking this over. He said they're still gonna want to get all their money from all their people.
Yeah. So how would I recognize this guy when I see him?
As TikTok, the man's thin. He's thin like the hands of a clock. Funny enough, he's very, very tall. He tends to wear a very, very long coat. Um, it's not a particularly nice coat. It's all sorts of patched up, and he's got a very, very thin face. He stands out.
Okay. And he was basically overseeing this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, maybe we should go see if we can find him and have a quick chat with him.
So, have also updated your factions to indicate your new nemesis.
Okay.
So, you know where this guy's going to be, and you have a general idea about what he's about. So, what is your plan here? How are you going to? What are you going to do? Are you just attempting to take the chess piece off the board, or are you attempting to gain some information from him about the rest of the organization? Are you attempting to? What is your game plan here?
Well, we definitely need more info. It's not just let's kill them.
Yeah.
I don't think that would do much good for us. So I think either we,
Turn him into an asset.
either we
absorb him.
maybe I hadn't even thought. I actually would. Okay, so I guess we could either try to recruit him to our group, or we just kidnap him and interrogate him, or when we find him, we follow him.
I'm thinking of actually just kind of being honest about the whole thing. I mean, yeah, interrogate or at least question him, but do it in a respectful way. See if that earns us some favor and we make an asset. If he's a dull dick about it, then we take him out.
Okay. So basically, when we see him, we take him out. Is that what? That's what I heard. My knife is itchy. Yeah. Okay. Let's go to the bridge and see if we can find him.
Okay. So, when you get to Char Hollow Bridge. What are you? How are you going to set this up? How are you going to attempt to implement this? Are you just going to basically hang out by the bridge when he walks by and be like, "Oh, BT dubs," or are you going to like how are you going to try to make this happen?
I'm not much of a talker, so I'm probably gonna keep a distance with my rifle. So if things do go south and he needs to be taken out,
Don't drop your rifle this time.
I didn't know I did.
Yeah,
you did.
in the fight last time, we had a couple of bad rolls, and Desi you got your hand knocked down, but you didn't drop yours, and Aldrich, you actually dropped your rifle, so you had to spend a turn just picking
And
it
then I
back
got
up.
head butted and got my nose broke.
Yeah, but that's
still have your nose broke.
yeah. But hey, the guy that did it is dead. So, I mean, I think we should go to hang out on our side of the bridge, or just go onto the bridge and wait. If we see him and there's not too many people around, we can go up and talk to him, or maybe we follow him a little bit and find like an opportune time to talk to him. I don't know, just kind of play it by ear.
And Aldrich can probably end up as Raven just to see if.
Yeah,
I could do that.
might as well go to the bridge and use the Raven
Yeah.
to get a little advance intel if that might work out.
It'd be a hunt.
So if you were going to head up to the bridge, you're going to get some advanced intel here. So are you surveying or are you studying?
Would it be hunt? Hunt
Well,
a target?
I mean, so gather information, hunt a target, gather information about its location. The only thing about that is that you have not yet acquired a target. Like you know
Okay.
what the target is, but you don't actually have vision of a target yet.
Okay.
So if
So
you
be a
want, if you
survey
wanted
then.
to do, so if you want to take up a position and attempt to use hunt to gather, to attempt to find the target, as or to target acquire, will stay. I would do that, but I would probably say, even though the situation would be controlled, is obviously you're going to control the vantage point. Your effect is likely to be limited.
Okay. I can survey then.
Okay. Do you? Do you want to push yourself for an additional die?
Not this early.
Okay. Devil's Bargain?
Not yet.
Okay. Then we'll say controlled and standard.
Oh. Nope.
Okay. So you are now to kind of gather up and where would you have been attempting to what is your like on the map, what would have been your placement for where you were going to attempt this?
What bridge was he on? Was it the one right on the edge of the territory?
Yeah, the Char Hollow
Roast Meat
Bridge.
Alley?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, up there. I probably would have flown down Bridge Road or up Bridge Road towards the bridge.
And you were
starting here and like flying up
okay.
that way.
So and you were sending your Raven to do this. You weren't actually attempting to do target acquirement yourself. Okay. So when you send your Raven out, you are searching. Now, you don't exactly know what this guy looks like, so you're basically telling your bird, being like, these are the things that I know about him, and sending him out looking for something that looks like this. As your bird is flying about, you notice that there are a group of thugs who are on Capstan Way, who you definitely see them point to the bird and it'd be like, what the fuck is that? So you know that there is somebody who is there who is at least suspicious about what's going on, about why there is a strange bird that is flying about.
Okay.
So we are going to add a clock.
Because
Because that's what you do.
How many are there?
Thugs, 6.
I'm just gonna walk over and kill them right now.
Clock demolished.
I'm gonna roll some more double 6s.
We're going to tick that. Twice.
Yeah, I'm looking for 2 Vice 10s.
Why is this not allowing? No. Give it.
So they're another gang, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we set out tonight to screw with other gangs, so maybe 2 birds with 1 stone.
Puns.
so punny.
So, you weren't able to acquire your target. You did acquire some new bit of information, Aldrich, is that there is at least another gang who is hanging out in Dogtown. So so what is the next step? What are you guys going to do now?
I mean, I thought we were just kind of hanging around the bridge until we see somebody that looks like our guy come by.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you guys are now going to you guys are going to actually head up there.
Yeah, I thought that's what. I mean, we were kind of heading that way, and Aldrich's Raven was just sort of like a little. See if we could get some advanced intel. But yeah, we're definitely going to the bridge, at least to where the bridge lets off on our side, right?
Okay. So while you are heading up there, are you being very open about your guys' strat? Are you guys kind of keeping to the shadows? Are you just kind of being like, we're here?
Yeah, unless somebody thinks there's another approach, I was just going to walk over to the bridge.
Okay.
Yeah, I just figured we were kind of loitering until
until we see
noticed our guy.
I mean, that's something that all criminals start doing, loitering.
That was my gateway crime.
Mine was jaywalking.
Hey, whoa, slow down, buddy. Whoa.
So when you guys are hanging out on basically at the intersection of School Lane and Bridge Road, there, right at the entry to the bridge, there are a couple things that you notice immediately. One, the vultures, who are just a little bit down from you, they're basically at Hungry Lane and Capstan Way, the 6 of them. They're not being particularly subtle, shall we say, with their predations. It's not necessarily that they're causing a scene, but this late at night, there's very few oil lamps that are about here, so it's easy pickings for them whenever they see people who are, coming down the street, to grab them, snatch them into an alley. In some cases, they just heckle them and harass them. Some people get it worse than others. But they're generally speaking just being kind of a generally very public and very aggressive nuisance to everybody who's there. So you see a carriage. It looks very similar to the one that you happen to now have in your warehouse, in your factory. But this time, well, you do see the man who is undoubtedly TikTok. Security has been beefed up quite substantially. Where last night there just the driver and the 4 on the sides. Tonight there are 6 of them, and at least 2 of them are toting long guns. So, how do you want to approach this?
And they're on a carriage.
Mm-hmm.
Shit. I'll bet you they're heading toward our new place.
Do we backtrack and go fortify?
Or set up an ambush before they get there. I'd rather take them out before they actually get there.
Yeah, assuming I'm correct, we could, I don't know, I guess it kind of depends on how fast the carriage is going, if we can beat it on foot. But we could at least go, if we could get ahead of it, we could at least go like to somewhere on Cook's Road. And if they're coming down there, then we'll just assume they're coming to attack, and we can just try to take them out ahead of time somehow.
Now they're not going. Now everybody who's not on the carriage is on foot. They're not making.
I see.
They're not driving this thing very quickly. In fact, the only person who is on the carriage is TikTok.
Now, if we cause a ruckus, he'll probably snap the reins and take off.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree in the ambush idea. Just let them come to us.
We could just kind of follow a little bit, and if it looks like they are going to make a show at the old place, then we could try to intercept them somehow. I mean, or we could send Aldrich ahead Aldrich, you could go post up somewhere. And if it looks like they are coming to cause trouble, we could just start taking them out. What do you think?
That sounds good. I figure I should probably set up right about here off of Roast Meat Alley. It has a very good vantage point looking north. And then if they actually decide to come down Cook's Road, I'd have, I'd still be on that roof to.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. Actually, I was trying to be nice and wait until we're sure that they're going to our place before we do anything, but we're criminals.
That's what I'm doing. I'm setting up here just to
yeah, I understand. I was just kind of thinking out loud, like, why am I trying to be so nice? But yeah, okay. So you want to go on ahead, or I guess we could all go on ahead. I don't know. What do you think, Desi? Should you and I kind of follow along and let Aldrich go ahead, or?
So maybe I'm a little confused. I was of the mindset that he was going to set up headed or in his spot, and that you and I would go back to territory and laying in wait for them.
Okay.
But your idea is to follow, like.
No, I was just saying we could either follow them or we could go on ahead with Aldrich and also set up somewhere for the ambush.
So yeah, I mean, even somewhere near the door or somewhat, in case they do try to make it all the way in, then we have a means to defend the new territory.
So you and I can. Oh.
Now, I just wanted to point out that you are also working currently off an assumption, which is that they are headed towards.
That was why I was bringing up my idea versus you saying to follow them. Were you going off of that assumption that they might not be coming to us?
Yeah. So let's imagine that they aren't going back to the old place. Let's say they're just going through and they're going to and they've got extra security because last night their carriage was busted. And we go post up on Cook's Road waiting for them, then they never show up. We're just sitting there twiddling our thumbs. But it does kind of split us up. You know what I mean? It's kind of a tough situation to make a good call on.
Well, we would at least have one means of communication. If they are heading towards us, then Aldrich could send the Raven to us, and that would be a sign. So is there a way that we can post at the closest intersection that they might, I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of, I'm feeling like it's.
Because it's not exactly the smallest area we're working with here.
Yeah, but also think about this. They clearly were trying to do something in our turf. Mm-hmm. And they're back again tonight. I think that if they enter Old Village, that's close enough for me to say we need to do something. We need to, yeah.
I agree. They cross the bridge, then we have issues.
We can set up some kind of an ambush, and then we can stand in the road and wait for them and confront them, or we just straight up attack them.
Yeah, I say we ambush.
My thing would be, what if they cross and they head into the Knackers or whatever? How long do we wait if they don't show up?
If they go into the Knackers, they're not.
Well.
Oh, you know what?
Unless they come back out.
Now we know what the target looks like. So you know what? We can go post up in Old Village. And if we don't see them in a reasonable amount of time, Aldrich can send his Raven out to see where they are.
Yeah.
Do that. How does that sound?
Sounds like a plan.
Okay. So you guys are going to retreat back now to, where are you headed to?
Cook's Road, basically.
Okay. So all three of you were retreating back?
Yeah, I guess we're.
Yeah, I was still thinking. Yeah, I was retreating back, but I was thinking of hanging out in this building up here too.
Post up on the roof.
Okay, so we'll say, like, are you going to be attempting to just overlook the bridge over Soapwater, or are you going to kind of post up like right here so you have more of a wide view of everything that's going on?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because here I have the view going north up the bridge road, and then like if he actually does come across this bridge, I can move across, to this side over here, and
Okay, so we're going to Desi. I need you to make a fortune roll for me.
That's on the crew sheet, correct?
It's on your sheet too.
on both.
Oh.
It's under
There
your
it is.
contacts.
Number of dice?
Just the one.
So leave it at 0? Or actually put it on 1?
I think put it on one.
Okay.
Okay, so here is what happens. Well, you guys are hanging out waiting. Aldrich, you have a pretty clear view down Bridge Road. Now, when I say pretty clear, I mean it's still dark in a dark city with minimal, lamps and oil lights on the streets here. But with that said, now that you already kind of have your target, you know what you're looking for, and you have seen the entourage that is there. You first notice that once they cross over the Char Hollow Bridge, they take an awfully long time just on Bridge Road. They stop. It looks like the members of the Vultures come over and are discussing things with them. People are pointing around. There looks like there is some sort of exchange, and the caravan moves on. The caravan moves down Bridge Road, and then takes a right down Washboard Way and heads into the Sheets. And it is maybe a solid 25-30 minutes before you see them come out of Pigtail Alley and then head down across the bridge towards Brook Street, which is the last place that you see them.
So they are going into the Knackers.
So, with this amount of information, what are you guys going to do now?
I'd go back and tell them.
Yeah. Well, the only way they're getting into Old Village is crossing the bridge at Roastmeat Alley, unless there's something missing. So we might as well just go follow them.
Yeah.
See what they're doing. See if an opportunity presents itself for us to talk to them.
Okay, so crossing over into the Knackers, it's not difficult to find them. And what you find is that they are doing the exact same thing that they were doing before. Is they are going to houses, going up. It looks like somebody is getting money and taking coin, coming back, depositing it or handing it off to somebody in the carriage. Sometimes there's an exchange, sometimes it's one-sided, and they are venturing through the Knackers.
So they're basically just collecting again, just with a different cart. Who amongst us has the highest sway? While Aldrich and I hang back to look over you, why don't you just walk up to them and be like, "Oh, hey guys, what are y'all doing?" I mean, they're interacting with people and trying to collect money. So I'd imagine they're not going to be too suspicious or too, they can't really lie about what they're doing. I'm just kind of curious. What do you think? You think that's an
Oh,
idea?
anybody can lie. It just depends on how
Well,
good you are.
we're watching them go up and collect. So, well, I mean, my idea is to kind of just go up and just kind of ask them and just kind of get a response from them and see, or we can just walk up and confront them directly. Because they're basically just collect. I mean, do we care if people are collecting around? I mean, the Knackers is not our turf.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just curious why they were. I mean, I really don't want to take on 7 dudes. I really just wanted to talk to this guy.
Yeah, I mean,
So here's my recommendation.
I mean, I at
Go
least
up.
have to have a good line. You know what I mean? Just walking up and being like, "Hey, what's up?"
No, no, no.
You know.
Like, no. What are you guys doing here? I mean, clearly they're collecting. What's this all about? Like curious. Like you might be interested. You might give them some coin. That kind of thing. I mean,
Do I
they're
have a clear? Does it look like TikTok is approachable, or is he being heavily guarded?
So TikTok is never the one who gets off the carriage. He is always the one who is. He's on the carriage. He's directing traffic, as it were. It is always one of the guys who is guarding the carriage who goes and does the pickup.
But none of the dirty people are approaching him directly, right? It's his cohorts that are doing the dealing, and no one's really approaching him. I'm just wondering
Correct.
if it looks like I could finagle my way into meeting him, or am I better off just seeing what I can get from one of the guards?
So one thing that you do notice, I'll give this one to you. One of the things that you definitely notice is it looks like this is not random. Like they're not just going door to door to door,
oh, so they're
Followers.
collecting
Followers.
people that are already following their
Yeah.
little religion. Oh shit! It's still just so unclear. I mean,
No, I mean, I'll go and approach one of the guards. I mean, hoping to get as close to TikTok as possible. Maybe he'll take notice of me, maybe whatever, but essentially, yeah, using my sway to.
He's a priest. He goes after little boys.
well, all right, Aldrich, take one for the team. Yeah, because I'm thinking, I don't remember what the route was, but does it look like they're following the route they did before?
To an extent. It is definitely not as convoluted as the last one was.
So they may collect, they may go back, they may finish the Knackers and go into Old Village. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's worth going up and just talking to him and see what kind of reaction you get, and then we can always retreat back to Old Village and wait for them.
Yeah. I guess I'll approach. Is there like a small shrimpy guy that looks like I could play my wiles? Like, hey, what's all this then? Like, is this the shopping cart? Are there trinkets for sale?
So so you are attempting to basically charm someone to. So
Yeah.
what is the information? So are you just attempting to find out what they're doing? Are you attempting
Right.
to...
I'm using this excuse of, oh, is this the trinket cart? Da da da. I was looking for the shopping, and then it might be like, no, ma'am, this is XYZ.
Yeah.
Looking for them to correct me.
Okay. So that definitely qualifies as sway. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, do you want to push yourself for an additional die, or do you want a devil's bargain?
What would the bargain be?
So the bargain is that, and this is one of those things where it doesn't apply to you per se.
Okay.
So here's the devil's bargain. You'll get the additional die, but TikTok will know what Memphis looks like. from his actions taking the territory.
Oh, so it's kind of like if she takes a double bargain, then we sort of rewrite the past, and TikTok would know what I look like.
Or somebody told it, or somebody has since described you.
Right, exactly. He has received that information.
Right.
I kind of don't like that. I like the element of surprise.
He doesn't know what y'all look like. You going up there is not going to be like, oh, wow, you look like someone who associates with Memphis. I'm not going up there.
Right, but when they eventually see us together.
Once they cross into Old Village, the subtlety's gone as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. If you're fine with that, if you're
what's your sway? Is it 1 or 2?
2.
You don't need a 3 dice for this, do you?
Did you see some of her rolls?
Yeah. Do we not understand?
It doesn't bother me. In fact,
no.
I think it kind of makes sense that after the bloody display from
that at least one of us would have been fingered.
Yeah. And it's not like we killed everybody in the warehouse, so somebody could have easily left that night and gone back to this crew and said, yeah, the devil looking dude killed everybody or whatever. So
sounds good.
I think, do it just because it sounds like it's kind of cool and makes sense.
Awesome. So,
okay, so you're gonna
position.
Take it?
Yeah.
I'll say the position's risky. You're basically approaching these people on the street with, no backup.
Yep.
There.
Effect.
I'll say that's standard.
Okay. And bonus die is 2, or bonus is 1 because it'll go ahead and do the 2. Okay. I'm still getting used to this whole thing.
Okay. So, when you walk up and there's a guy, he's kind of standing off to the side, kind of looking off into nowhere. So he makes for an easy approach to come up and be like, oh, what are you doing here? And at first, he's, sees an exotic looking woman who's approaching him in the dark and he's not thinking really clearly. And he's kind of, he's like, oh. And he tells you that they are missionaries who are picking up tithes. At which point, one of the other guards overhears him and kind of slaps him upside the back of the head and is like, would you shut up, fuckstick? And guy looks at you and is like, best be on your way. So they have, at the very least, one of these dudes has definitely fingered you. He definitely has seen you and is questioning why you're asking questions here.
Really good missionaries.
That goes on the kink bingo.
I mean, if I walked up to some Jehovah's Witnesses walking around my neighborhood, they wouldn't let me get away.
Yeah. It is odd. This sounds more like cultists than just,
Oh, because the Jehovah's Witnesses aren't cultists?
Well, the keeping it secret and sacrificing, that whole thing.
They are not. These guys are not secret.
Also, I would like to point out,
as far as the fact that he was so adamant about shut up, don't talk to her, that it means that whoever they're collecting from is part of the group. Otherwise, Jehovah's Witness style, it'd be knocking on every door.
Well, and I was going to point out, Jehovah's Witnesses are usually not that eager to talk with me, mostly because when they knock to the door, I immediately run to my stereo and crank Slayer Seasons in the Abyss.
Oh, yes.
So when I open that door, they're like, oh, sorry, we definitely had the wrong house.
Whatever it takes.
I answer the door and just say, hi, I'm a lonely, impressionable guy. What's up?
No, the scene from Black Books is the best. If you've never seen Black Books, that's
I only watched Bible Black. That's the only thing I watched.
no, Black Books is a British comedy.
From
I'll
the
find
90s.
yeah,
It's old.
I'll figure out where it's at, and I'll drop a link in Discord. Yeah.
So they continue on. They basically leave you behind and continue on. It looks like they're heading down towards Flenzer's Way, maybe even heading past that and going up. So with this new information and with this little bit of, now that you've been fingered a little bit,
Just a little.
Freaking teases, man. I don't like these guys.
what's your next step?
So I'm assuming that Desi comes back and tells us what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Say, well, again, we have the option. Excuse me. We have the option of just going back to Old Village and waiting for them to cross into our turf, and then deciding, what kind of confrontation we want to have with them.
Mm-hmm.
Or, now that it looks like they're not being random, we could always, go to one of these houses and try to lean on some people in these houses and say, what are these tithes about?
We could be your religion for half the price.
Yeah. The only thing I'm worried about is if we're going to try to approach some of the houses they're going to, I would want to make note of the houses and go later, because we have to follow these guys, because if their intent is to go back to the offertory, we have got to be there to defend it. We can't let them just go with these 6 armed dudes back into the place we just took and try to take it back. We can't allow that.
Yeah.
So if they go through the Knackers and then head back out and don't come to Old Village, then okay. But if they go into Old Village and head toward our new place, we have got to either wait for them to go into the warehouse and then ambush them or something. We can't let them do that. You're on mute there.
I'd want to ambush them on Roast Meat Alley. Like once they cross the bridge, like they're between the 2 buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That would be if they make it that far, then.
So let me ask another out of game question. There's 3 of us. There's 6 of them. There were 6 vultures. Is it just us 3 in our gang, or are there other people like NPCs or anything like that? Do we have other people we could call upon to assist us, or are we just always outnumbered until we increase our ranks?
Yes.
Just the 3 of us.
So typically speaking, when you take over territory, those people aren't necessarily working for you. They're more afraid of you. They're like, oh, these people are, they're, Jenny on the block. So when at level 0, it is basically just whoever is in the crew that night.
Okay.
So actual players. When you increase to your first tier, then you will end up having some extra manpower about.
I have an idea that coincides with Mephis's idea, which essentially, if we lie in wait, like you said, let them take the chance of crossing into our territory. If one of us is hiding out on the bridge, another takes this block, another this block, we'll have them cornered in. And if they do come in, that's all we got to do is step out of the shadows. And they'll realize we've got them surrounded to an effect. Maybe not outnumbered, but at least surrounded.
Well, okay.
I'm thinking of dropping something off the roof on top of them.
Yeah, if we're going to wait for.
Dang. What the hell? My goodness. Well, that's not good. I'm going to have to refresh the page, I think. All right. Well, let's try this again. This is not looking very good. Okay, maybe we're back. Guys.
Hello?
Okay.
All right.
Apparently you guys were talking about dropping something off the roof and it happened to be the fucking local router.
No shit. I had to refresh like the whole browser.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
You guys were like, yeah,
Now
I'm
I
gonna
get
drop
to.
something off the roof right through the fucking electrical cords.
So, yeah, now that Aldrich basically broke the world.
Okay, let me move the map back in
Hey, at
place.
least it wasn't the Texas power grid this time.
This time. Already
go.
75,000 without power in San Antonio.
So ridiculous.
Okie doke.
Get what you pay for. Why haven't you bought a politician yet?
Mm-hmm.
You get what you don't regulate.
Can we crowdsource for that? Should we start a GoFundMe so we can buy our own politician? You know, one that might work for the people.
Not in this state.
Yeah.
The only of the 50. Any other state we could possibly do it, but not here.
I don't know about that, but
I'm sure Elon Musk has done it by now. But anyway.
Multiple times. Okay, so what do you guys? So you guys are going to do. So now that the Roll20 has had their say in what you're going to do, so what are you actually going to do?
I guess something entirely different. No, yeah, I mean, I figure kind of talking to them is maybe not an option, at least in my opinion. If they cross into Old Village, I say we just unload on them. We just ambush. I mean, if we come out of the shadows and have them surrounded, I would imagine they're just going to open fire on us. And I'm not really trying to negotiate with them if they're coming into our turf with that kind of show of force. You know, if it had just been TikTok, we could have just talked to them. But now I'm thinking that's not an option.
Yeah, especially if they were so quick to keep outsiders out.
Yeah, and these guys are clearly the faction. You know, the whole point for tonight was us to find who was trying to set up shop in our turf and take them down a peg. Well, basically, that's who these guys are. TikTok is representing that faction, and those guys are guards, and they're going through the area doing their thing. So we need to basically let them know that we're not cool with that.
Sounds like a plan.
So we should just go post up on Roast Meat Alley and get ready for ambush.
So that is that your plan now? Is to retreat back to Old Village and set up an ambush?
Yeah, if they come down this way, we're going to be ready for them. They may not come down here, but if they do,
yeah, if they avoid Old Village, I guess, you know, we'll go back to trying to gather information. But if they come into Old Village, I say we attack them.
Yeah.
Okay, so who wants to make the, shall we say, setup roll for this? For whether or not
Scott was rolling them sixes last time.
I mean, is this now a place where I could use my little skill?
What skill?
Weaving the web.
I would say that, but I would also say this is not necessarily the engagement, unless this is the point when you are actively attempting to.
Oh yeah, so I guess
action.
We'll save it. So this is just a setup. Okay. So we need to roll just to set up to wait for them.
Well, you're starting to set up an ambush, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that wreck or no? Is that the actual act of the ambush?
I don't know how we roll to set ourselves up. I don't know.
Gather information, study. Survey. So survey sounds correct to me. Survey a location or situation, understand what's going on, sense trouble before it happens, gather information about opportunities or exploits.
Okay.
I've got study.
You've also got
I mean, if we're actually doing a roll to set up an ambush, survey is really the most appropriate one, it looks like.
Yeah, I would say that the only other one that would make any sense is, in this particular case, might be hunt. If you're being preemptive about it, like if they're attempting, like for instance, if they are before they even cross into your territory, if you're going to start taking pot shots at them or something like that, hunt makes some amount of sense.
No, I
guess it would be survey then, because I think we would wait for them to come into our territory,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, that's the whole point.
We're giving them the benefit of the doubt.
Okay, so then who's going to make this roll?
Does anyone else have survey besides me?
I have 1 point in survey, and I have no room to push.
I have 1 point in survey I can push. So.
Okay. So then that leads to what I was going to say was, okay, so are you going to push yourself for an additional die?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then we will have 2 stress. So then we'll say the position is controlled. In effect, will be standard, since it's your territory and you've got the time to actually set this up the way that you want to. Okay, so here is what happens. You guys post up on top of the buildings and in the alleyways along Roast Meat Alley. When they cross, how far down Roast Meat Alley would you let them get before you dropped the hammer, so to speak?
Once they're all the way across the bridge, I think. Like once they've shown they've crossed that bridge and they're actually in our territory.
Yeah, I wouldn't let them get that far. I mean, either we hit them right away or we wait till they get down to the. I think it's just we might as well just hit them. Like they cross the bridge, they're in our turf. The way we're going to be.
Once they've got buildings to both sides of them.
Yeah, I figure like Desi said earlier, one of us will be like maybe waiting for them on Soap Street to follow them over, and the other people are going to be on Roast Meat Alley, so we kind of have them from both sides, and we just go at it.
Aldrich could have been just like meandering on the. Oh, that's right. You took the roof. Yeah.
He's up on the roof. So basically, you could be down Roast Meat Alley, and I could have been like waiting in the shadows and then follow them across the bridge into Roast Meat Alley, or just waiting right inside our turf and come out onto the street at them when they cross over. Whatever.
Right.
Okay, so what would your first coming out of the shadows? What would your first response be here? Are you immediately going to violence, or is there going to be any talking at all?
So they actually did cross over into our turf?
Yes.
I think it's maybe time to like lob some sort of an explosive at the cart. Who's got the best wreck?
Well,
I've got one.
Okay, so here. So
got some Molotov.
So here is what happens, because I'm asking for these details to tell you. Okay. So when they cross the bridge, Desi, you, from where you are, hurl a vial of something. It hits the side of the cart and sends 2 of the guys who are nearby, sends them scrambling. They're like, shit, what the fuck? But the 2 guys on the 3 guys on the other side, and the 1 guy who's on the back who wasn't affected by this, they kind of they're turning around and are like, they're on the lookout. They're like, where did that come from? TikTok's not having any of that, and instead he basically slaps the reins and pushes it on. So he's gone. Like TikTok is escaping. He's heading straight down Roast Meat Alley, and it looks like he's making to make a turn and head out for the main road.
And head out for the main road.
Like
Bridge Road.
Yeah.
Oh, like they're trying to escape, not go
Yeah.
to the. Well, Aldrich, you got the hunt and the long gun. You could try to pick off TikTok.
Yeah, that was my idea.
Okay.
That'd be a nice.
So, what is everybody doing? Aldrich, you're going to attempt for a sniper shot here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, again, Hunt, are you going to push yourself?
Yes.
Okay. Everybody's stress is climbing up there. Okay. So this will be a risky position, and the effect will be standard.
At the same time, would I be able to use my prowl to try to
Oh, he did.
run and catch up to the cart itself?
Wait a minute. Okay, we see his role, but I realize that TikTok is having none of it and slap the reins. But I thought, Desi, I thought you were posted up like down the alley already, like he would be heading toward you, or did he? Because we were basically.
From what I
trying to
understand,
stop-
they have come to pass me, and that's when I lobbed the vial.
Okay.
And so they crossed the point where I was waiting.
Okay.
But now that he's cracked the reins, and these guys, at least closest to me, appear to be stunned, I'm wondering if while he's setting up for the shot, if I can use prowl to traverse obstacles, run, jump, try to get up to at least the back of the cart.
Okay, so what are you attempting to get into the cart? Are you attempting to just jump onto it? What are you attempting
Well,
to
I mean,
do?
at this point, it just depends on how fast he's going, right? I mean, the goal is probably fling myself into the back so that at least one of us is still with the cart. If Aldrich doesn't make a shot.
Okay.
We made it.
So.
Oh, the roll went off? I didn't hear it.
Yeah, see the hunt?
Got it.
But all of your stuff will take place at the same time. So, Desi, you want to try to jump onto the cart?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Using prowl, that seems like that's the correct one. Are you going to push yourself for an additional die?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Do you want to take a devil's bargain?
What would it be?
You can get the additional die, but he's going to know you're on the cart.
Take it.
Yeah, fuck him. He already knows we're after him. And if this is happening at the same time, I'm guessing there's a bullet's about to go through his skull, so...
We'll see.
Yeah.
Then you'll be in a runaway cart.
I already have my nose broke. Go for it.
Okay, so then roll the...
Risky.
And it will be risky and standard.
Okay, +1.
Okay. We'll come back to that. Memphis, what are you doing?
So she lobbed some sort of a thing. 2 guys ran off. 4 are left in the street.
So no. When she threw the thing and it hit the side of it, 2 of the guys are basically like got caught up in it and are like, what the fuck? The other 4, after that happened, have kind of taken up defensive positions. So you've got 2 of them are kind of freaking out about whatever Desi threw at them, but the other 4 are
ready.
Arsenic.
Yeah. And did we get lucky? And were any of the 2 guys that got caught up in it carrying the guns?
One of them was one of the guys carrying the long gun.
Okay. And I'm still kind of hiding in the shadows. I imagine Memphis does not carry a long gun. He probably carries a pistol or 2, so I would maybe need to be a little closer. Or am I close enough? I mean, they didn't get that far down the street before this all happened, right?
No.
Let's say that since we didn't talk about load before we started out, I would have probably just gone for normal again.
Yeah.
And I'd say within that, I could probably fit. What is a pistol? A pistol just counts as one.
Mm-hmm.
How about 2 pistols in my knife? That's 3 of the 5. How about that?
That's totally fine.
Okay. How does armor work?
Armor mitigates any damage. So so if you're wearing a piece of light armor and you take a level 2 harm, it will mitigate it down to level 1.
Okay,
But
so
then
I
it
guess,
trashes the armor.
and the armor would be part of the loadout.
Yes.
Okay, so I basically have 2 more spots to fill with something if I feel the need.
So keep in mind, armor is 2 spots.
Yeah, I'm thinking, knowing Memphis and his military and all that, I might have just completely loaded up for war, especially because we were going out to pick a fight anyway. But we'll see.
So you went with a heavy load?
No, normal.
Because you said you said 2 pistols and a knife, right?
Yeah, that's 3.
Right, and the armor is 2.
So that would be 5.
That would be 5. That would be a normal load, right?
Right. That fills you out.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll just go with that.
Okay.
So basically, what I want to do is try to take advantage of the chaos, and using my pistols, I want to try to take out the guys that have the guns.
Okay.
Now, when she threw her thing and temporarily screwed with 2 of the guys, are they even visible now? Are they like in a puff of green mist, or what's going on with that?
They're
I
visible.
turned them into toads.
Sweet. I'm assuming they're going to eventually get out of that and be able to fight. So yeah, I'm going to try to take out the guys with the long guns if I can do that.
Okay, so you're going to try to shoot both of the guys who have the rifles?
Yeah, so I'm going to use my pistols. I'm assuming these are just single shot pistols anyway.
Right.
And I'm going to basically try to come out of the shadows and boom, boom, take out the 2 guys with the rifles, and then we'll see what happens next.
Okay. So that's going to be despite the fact what you said earlier, are you going to push yourself for an additional die?
I can't. If I do, I'm full. I can't do it.
Okay. Do you want
right? Isn't that right? I mean, if I push myself, then I've maxed out my stress.
You hit trauma.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want
trauma.
Yeah. I could consider a devil's bargain here. I don't know. What would the devil's bargain be?
So the obvious devil's bargain would be here is that regardless of the outcome of your shots, the fact that you're walking up with 2 pistols and shooting means that everybody who's there is going to see you. Like, they're going to immediately have target acquisition.
You mean the other guard?
The remain. Oh, well, all 6 of them would be basically yes.
Yeah. But I figured that was going to happen anyway, so sure, I'll take it.
Okay.
So skirmish, risky.
Okay. So this is because you are attempting to shoot 2 people. This could go one of 2 ways, and I will let you decide. This could either be a desperate position, and the other part of that would be standard, or this could be risky, but your effect is going to be limited.
I want to justify desperate for the XP, but I just don't know. It doesn't feel desperate to me. It just feels risky. So I'll do the risky.
Okay.
Risky, limited, and I get 1 bonus die.
Yep.
You spend a willpower to re-roll 3.
Nice. No,
So
basically that was just a big fat miss.
So you just to tell you this, you do have another option here, although it's one you're probably not going to want to take. Whatever the outcome is, again, you can choose to resist it, and then you roll. Like if I tell you you miss your shots and the 6 of them take to just kicking the shit out of you, you can say, No, I
Well-
choose to resist that, and then roll stress to resist that. But that also will result in trauma probably for you, unless you get a roll really high.
So just because I miss means they automatically hit me?
So in the event of at a risky position, with an unlimited effect, this is a suffer complication. So here it is going down the list of things that happens kind of as it happens. So Aldrich, when you take the shot, you line it up, and even though he is running his little goats as hard as they possibly can, he's still basically going in a straight line. So when you take the shot, it looks for a second like maybe you didn't hit him, and then he kind of like slumps forward, and you can see that there is a very large blossoming red spot between his shoulder blades. You've basically hit him center mass. Desi,
Yep.
when you jump onto the cart, you jump on basically just in time to watch TikTok basically get shot with a very resoundingly gross, splorch sound as the bullet hits him. So you managed to get onto the
Member of the crew.
cart. But as you jump onto the cart and you are holding on to the side of it, that's when you hear from within, under the tarp, you hear somebody be like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Yeah, I need to grab those reins.
Somebody else in there.
Memphis, you step out, looking ballsy as shit, pull your pistols, and it looks like you've got them dead to rights. And you pull the trigger on both of them, and your equipment just misfires. It's just a flat fucking fizzling sound. And you're just like, fuck.
That just make Hulk smash more.
So at that point,
He stops
your
and looks at him and just goes,
I'm like, I was the distraction. What's up, boys?
so you pull out your pistols, both fizzle. And that is when the group of them do indeed turn on you.
Okay.
So now you're in a situation, because you got 6 guys who are standing there who are all about to try to beat your ass, and you're basically down to your knife.
So they're in trouble, is what you're telling me. I mean, my knife is thirsty.
That is fair. Speaking of
Aldrich-
thirsty, this seems like an appropriate time to go take a bio break.
Sure does. All right, everybody. We're right in the thick of it. And,
We're about to say
Yeah.
farewell to Memphis.
so stick with us to see if we can save his ass again. I'm kidding. I'm
just
kidding.
jumping right in. Every time I'm kamikaze.
He's like, I've got this.
I'm surprised I lasted this long. Come on.
Yeah, everybody just stick with us and we'll be back in, let's call it 7:15-ish.
Yeah, I said
Yeah.
15 after.
7:15. Alrighty. All right, we're back, everybody, from the bio break. Thanks for sticking with us on the playground. Hi to all of you new people. My name is Pixie Phoenix. I'm a variety streamer here on Twitch, and tonight we're into session 5 of Blades in the Dark. I'm joined by Nox, my storyteller, Zack, who plays Aldrich. I'm Desi, and we got Skot as Memphis. And Memphis is just about to get his butt kicked, so let's see how this goes.
Sure hope so.
So, here is for all of those who weren't here before the break, who are just tuning in. Aldrich, from his ambush position, was able to take a shot and was able to score a successful center mass shot on TikTok, who is attempting to escape in the carriage. While the carriage was being driven away, Desi was able to jump on board just in time to see TikTok get hit, and also to hear that there is at least one other person who is also on the carriage inside of it. And Memphis, who decided to be very ballsy, attempted to step out of the shadows with 2 pistols drawn, guns akimbo style, only for them to fizzle with 6 people staring him down now. So, what is the next thing that happens? What are you guys going to do? Aldrich?
I'm going to go ahead and consort with these guys.
That's going to be desperate and 0 effect.
Is there anything on this roof that's big enough to toss down and cause some chaos? If not, I can go guns blazing. That's fine too. But I didn't know if there was like something to toss over or push over.
Are you carrying some kind of an explosive device or something? I mean, you do have your load.
I was also going to say, what are you, when you're saying, is there something to throw? Like, what are you thinking?
A planter or something, like I don't know if there's any plants growing on the roof or or a bench, if there's seating up there, or table.
I would say there's probably, if you wanted to pick up like a table and throw it, you could probably do that, but it's probably going to be a fairly rickety table.
That's fine. I think I'm more just trying to sow the chaos right now, because Memphis is in a spot. I think he just needs he needs a Deus Ex Machina.
If you drop like an explosive on them, I mean, that would also be helpful.
I would like to point out that the last time that something like this happened, it resulted in Desi taking a brick to the head. So,
and that was the section I wasn't here.
Yeah.
Nice.
Desi takes all the damage.
Well, the way I look at it now, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not like, the way I imagined it was I kind of stepped out of the shadows and walked toward them close enough to try to improve my pistol range, and I shot at them. I don't see myself being in melee range just yet.
No,
they all have guns.
No, 2 of them have guns.
Have long guns. I thought the rest of them were still armed, right?
Right. The only 2 that I mentioned was the 2 long guns. The other 4 are armed with whatever they have.
Yeah.
So they're just not touting rifles.
Yeah, it would be possible to drop something a little more damaging on them, and I don't know that I would be in danger of being hit by that because I'm not close enough. But
I mean, if he rolls a 1, you're probably fucked. But so
what would that be?
So Aldrich, you're going to throw that table. That's going to be your. So you said you're not trying to actually like hit somebody with this. You're just trying to provide a distraction.
Oh, if I can hit them with it, that's fine. That works too.
So I would say it's in your favor on either way, but the difference is going to be if you're attempting to hit a target, or if you're attempting to create distractions and chaos. Like you could throw a table and try reliably to aim and hit someone with it, or you could just kind of lob the table into the group and try to just create general chaos and see what happens.
I'd go for the long gunman that wasn't affected by the whatever Desi threw.
Okay, so you're going to try to specifically hit the guy with the long gun and take him out with this table.
Sure.
Okay, so that's definitely going to be a hunt. So the question that I have for you here is, are you going to push yourself?
No, because I'm getting close to reaching trauma at this point. So I might take a devil's bargain though.
Okay, so here is the devil's bargain that I will give you. You will definitely have scored your hit on TikTok, but it will not be mortal.
Ooh. That's interesting. Well, Desi's there to finish him off, so I guess I'll take that.
Okay. Then roll hunt. We'll say that the position is risky and standard effect, and add your 1 die.
Ooh.
So we will come back to this. Desi, what are you doing?
I'm trying to gain control of the cart to turn it around and drive it back through those guys.
Okay, so you're actually trying now to basically to gain control, to actually like wrest control of the.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you? So okay, so with that, how are you planning on doing that?
Now that TikTok is suddenly alive, but
Well,
seriously,
I'm sure he's still. Yeah, I'm sure he's at a point of being incapacitated at this point. Shit. Let's see.
So I will say, given the bargain that was had, that is actually not the case. The damage was reduced from 3 to 2, so he is injured, but he is not incapacitated.
Great.
well, you got to take him out.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the first thing to do is to take him down in order to get the control of the cart.
So how are you going to do that?
We could always just sway him. Come in behind. I'm here to cure your.
It's not fucking Jedi mind trick. I wish, but it's not. Oh, my back. Sorry, guys, my back's really bad today.
You just say you chose the wrong territory as you kick him off the cart.
He's trying to. The only thing I can say in his favor is he's trying to leave at least.
It's actually not a bad idea, but still leaves him alive. And I was under the assumption the group wanted him taken out if possible.
Sure.
So I'm trying to, but like my skills are not that great for this on their own.
I mean, not to try to metagame it too much, but it's probably going to be the same role to you just trying to physically knock him out of the cart as it would be to finish him off.
Not, because I'm thinking I could technically roll my wreck to throw him off. But I don't know that I could use like wreck. I'm not sure that would kill him. I would have to say that I took a weapon and then try to roll my weapon.
Yeah, if it's safer for you just to try to knock him off, who knows? Maybe you'll roll a 6 and Knox might count that as him hitting
Breaking
something
his neck,
behind.
yeah. I mean, but yeah, I mean, if I have to do that in order now to gain control of the cart, then yeah, I'll have to probably roll wreck if storyteller allows it.
Okay, I would say. So if you're gonna roll wreck, so what is the actual action? What is the actual thing that you were going to do?
If I've made my way successfully up into the cart where he's sitting, I'm essentially trying to grab the reins and just force him off the side. Just go.
Okay, so you're just basically trying to like shoulder check him right off the side.
Or get my leg up and kick him, boost him off, like whatever my small frame needs to do.
Okay, I would say this is probably going to be because originally you had just jumped up onto the side, so this is going to be a risky. I mean, you're basically jumping from the side onto driver's
Yeah.
component. And I would also say it's going to be standard effect. Now, the question that I was going to ask you was, do you want to push yourself for an additional die?
Mm-mm.
Okay. And do you want a devil's bargain?
What would it be?
All right. My devil's bargain to you is that the effect will be in the event of a failure, the effect will be increased drastically. It'll go to a great effect.
Nah. We'll try this one and cross our fingers. So no bonus die.
Yep. Risky and standard.
Fuck me. Fuck me.
my
No. Fuck this game. God damn it. This game is out for me. For me.
So
Shit.
we're gonna come back to that.
No, yeah, I bet we are.
Nice.
He's got to think up just how bad he's gonna fuck me over.
Memphis, what do you, given the situation and not having known that Aldrich has just played dodgeball with one of these guys' head in a table, what are you going to do?
I mean, I hate to say this because I really don't have the skills for it, but I'm going to have to take a chance. I mean, I figure in this situation, at the very least, Memphis would like try to jump to the side, like maybe some buildings or something, try to get away from the immediate danger and get some cover or something.
So you're thinking like you would try to run for like a nearby alley or something like that. Just put some space between you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just gonna. I mean, I don't have any. It's gonna have to be one of those roll 0 and take the lower number. I don't really know what else I'm gonna do.
So what I was going to say was, are you just attempting to take cover and get away, or are you attempting to like actually elude them, or are you attempting to get into a position where you can start to fight back again?
Oh, definitely that. My idea is to improve my position so that in the event that they pursue me, or whichever one of them does pursue me, I'll have a little bit more of an advantage rather than trying to straight up take on 6 guys on the freaking street with a knife.
Okay, so here is what I would say. I would say that actually this is falling under survey, because you're attempting to basically maneuver into a place where you can exploit the situation.
Okay, well, that at least gives me 1.
Does that sound fair to you? Does that sound like
Sure.
what you're actually attempting to do? Okay.
I mean, it's better than 0.
That's
And
fair.
I'm not going to push myself. I mean, is there any sort of a devil's bargain situation for this one?
The first one that comes to my mind is similar to what I offered Desi, which is that if this goes poorly for you, then the effect will automatically go up from standard to great.
I mean, we're just rolling 1. I don't know if I want to risk it. I'll just go with the 1 and see what happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then,
is this risky or desperate?
I would say this is desperate.
Hey, at least you get an XP for this one.
I would have thought that mine would have been desperate, but kind of surprised it wasn't.
What's the effect on mine? Standard or limited or what?
I'll say it's standard.
Jesus Christ.
All right.
Sucks.
So.
Damn it.
We're going to go down the list of things.
Fucking A, man.
So, Aldrich, you see the situation as it's occurring down below you, and you just snatch up one of those tables and you just heave it down. Now, when you heave it, this dude who is standing there with his long rifle, he was about to snap that long rifle up and take a shot at Memphis. Unfortunately for him, he's not even looking in the general direction. He has no idea what's coming. And this table, I mean, yeah, is it a rickety table? Yeah, sure. But you're throwing a rickety table that still weighs, probably 4 or 5 pounds, and you're throwing it off a building 3 stories up and hitting this dude in the head. No, that's done. dude is if he's not suffering from like a cracked skull, like at the very least he's suffering a massive concussion. He is out of the fight, leaving
Nice.
you with these other guys. Now, when you do that, one of the other guys who is behind him is backs off. He takes a step back from the situation that he was engaging with Memphis, because all of a sudden the guy who was in front of him took a fucking table to the head.
Yep.
So through your actions, you have basically reduced the amount of trouble that Memphis is in by an amount, because now Memphis isn't being pursued by 6 guys. Now he's being pursued by 4.
Well,
So
what about the 2 guys that were in Desi's smoke? Are they still out of it, or are they recovered?
they're basically recovered. They're basically after you tried to shoot them and they did. Now that the shock of the original grenade has worn off. So, meanwhile, down the street, Desi, you jump up. You jump up and you go to shoulder check TikTok, who you think is injured, and he is very badly injured. But as you jump up to kick him, he sees you and he catches you straight in the face on that broken nose.
Oh no!
With the end of his elbow, and it sends you tumbling beneath the wheels.
Ooh.
This is a serious injury. This is, at the very least, broken ribs. So, you have an option here. I would say that this is a level 3 harm. This is being run over by an old school carriage that is full of stuff in the back. That's enough to seriously maim you. So here is your options here. You can take the harm, or you can attempt to resist the effect, to resist the damage, and say, nope, not doing that.
And the resist means I take a trauma?
So, no. So what happens in the resist is that you automatically, a resist check is 6 stress. You roll against it, and whatever your roll is to resist it is what gets reduced from that 6. Theoretically, if you roll a perfect 6 on it, you can resist the harm completely. I would still probably say you're still going to end up with with some wound, some injury, but it won't be a level 3. All of your ribs are broken.
Can she also wear armor? Like if she hasn't put armor in her loadout yet, would armor help reduce the damage? Or
I would say so. Yes, if she was wearing armor, since she hasn't done that yet, if she chooses to say yes, I was wearing armor this entire time, I would say that would reduce the effect.
But that takes up 2 spots in your loadout.
Well, and what I was going to say is that would reduce the effect further from 2 down to 1 in the event of a successful resist. But in terms of like getting hit by a cart, like she's not wearing something that's gonna resist that.
But if I fail to resist.
So if you fail to resist, so here is the result of that is that you would max out your trauma. So you're going to be severely injured and going to end up taking on a trauma.
That is such a huge risk, especially with the way I've been rolling.
So if she doesn't resist it and she just takes it, she's basically at a 3 harm. She's hurt in the street, and basically now we just need to get her and get out of here.
Yeah, and then she would be basically incapacitated. like this would be the functional equivalent of a major wound, and she's in a position where she can't physically do anything.
Like the guy that I just hit with the table.
I would go even further than that. I would say that this is heading towards into the mortal territory. Like if she doesn't get a physicker quickly, then she's probably going to be in a bad place.
Luckily, she is a physicker, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure she's in a great position to work on herself.
But again, it's weighing it out against the risk of the resist, and I'm like, I'm already half dead. Like we don't need to be 3/4 dead. So I think I'm gonna withhold from the resist.
You're going to resist or not?
I'm not gonna resist.
Okay, you're not going to resist it. Okay, then you are functionally laying at the end of Roastmeat Alley, coughing up blood. Like you're losing consciousness here. So, Memphis, at the other end of the street.
Yeah, this is gonna be great. Might as well just jump in the grave and start over with a new crew.
So, these guys run up on you, and when you go for you manage to try to take a couple swipes with your knife, but it's a 4-on-1 situation. That's not fair odds, even in with if the guns were involved. So luckily, these guys, they don't actually pull guns and start working you over with them. They just pull billy clubs and knives and start going to work on you, which is still exceedingly painful with four guys going to work. So I'm going to mark that you would have, again, multiple cuts at level 1. Level 2, probably broken arm. And level 3, severe stab wound.
So basically, we're just out. We're done.
So you are severely injured at this point. You're not. I will not say that you're at the point where given your background history, you're not completely incapacitated.
What?
Can I just give up and become a ghost?
Yeah, I mean, did my armor not help me at all?
Did you? I don't see your armor marked. Did you put on armor?
Yeah, earlier when we were talking about my load, I said I have 2 pistols, my knife, and I'm wearing armor.
Okay, none of that's ticked on you. So
you put it on your thingy.
I didn't tick it, but okay.
So then I would reduce and say reduce that from a severe stab wound to. So that is, so you didn't take level 3 harm here, but these guys worked you over.
So it's going to be an early night tonight, it looks like.
So
I don't know how we get out of this.
So Aldrich, what are you gonna do?
I guess I've got to start picking them off from the roof.
So how are you going to do this? Are you going to attempt to take individual shots? Are you trying to lay down suppressing fire? What are you going to do here?
I think the one guy with the long rifle is probably the most, probably the one that has the best chance to hit me. So I'm gonna aim for him first, and then just see if the other 3, stay up. What the other 3 do.
Okay.
And
so
take them down one by one until they are all dead or they run away.
Okay, so you are going to hunt that one guy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm guessing you're not going to push yourself.
I don't think I can.
So the other thing is do you want a devil's bargain to increase your?
Sure.
Okay. If you miss, then you shooting is going to bring attention from parts unknown. I'm not going to say if that's going to be Bluecoats. I'm not going to say if that's going to be the Lost, the Vultures. But you shooting and missing this shot will do something which will rouse additional attention on the situation.
I'll take it.
Okay.
I think rolling 3 dice, I think I have a pretty good chance.
Yeah, I did too.
Yep.
So we'll say this is risky and standard effect. And the 1 extra die.
We might as well just give up now.
Something must have happened when the API crashed. Like they're like, oh, 4s, 5s, and 6s just don't apply anymore. That's it. We took them out. They're gone.
Might as well just give up.
So you shoot, shot goes wide. The shot goes wide, hits glass. You hear a scream, and people start coming out of the street nearby, and people are starting to be like, "What the fuck?" Not that they weren't what the fuck before, but now that the bullets are going into people's windows, now people are starting to come out. So there is now an additional group there, members of the Lost, who have been woken up, who are on the offensive.
Toward us?
Just towards they're
general,
walking. They have no idea what's
honestly.
going on. That's not like they've been watching this.
We paid them money. What the hell?
It might come into handy later.
Mhm.
So okay. So, Desi, while you are laying there, what are you going to try to do anything? Are you going to try to is there anything that you want to attempt to do while you are struggling there, attempting to
Breathe.
What? Yeah, I'm like, what can I even do? I'm in a pretty dire situation.
Do you have any like magic healing potions or anything like that that you could do? Does that even exist in this game?
actually,
I mean, I would think it would something like that would be on my bandolier.
I would say if you are ticking your bandolier, I mean, I'll let you tell me what's on your bandolier, like in terms of chemicals or things that you would have to heal.
Is there a? I'm guessing there's like, is there like a cheat sheet for stuff like that?
So it says, so here are the things that it says that can be found on, is on page 71, is alkahest, binding oil, drift oil, drown powder, eye blind poison, fire oil, grenade, quicksilver, skullfire poison, smoke bombs, spark, which is a drug, standstill poison, or trance powder. But again, if you want to say that you have something else on there.
Yeah, I mean, if there's some kind of potion of healing or.
Does that kind of stuff even exist in this world? Like you can take a potion and mitigate damage or remove damage or stabilize or.
I mean, I would say as a potion, probably not. But there's probably things that like stimulants and drugs. Like if you wanted to say that you've got, a morphine or cocaine equivalent on there, that's probably not unreasonable.
What, to knock herself out? I mean, the idea is to get away.
Yeah, that's more what I'm questioning, is not just like, what can I do for myself laying there in a clump? It's like, what are my options as to movement, like physical movement at this point?
Well, the only thing that's broken other than your nose is your ribs. Like it didn't like take out your legs. So movement is going to be exceptionally painful. Like, you're not, like, if somebody runs up on you, you're fucked. But as it currently is, you could theoretically start trying to crawl away.
Yeah, if I've got some kind of pain numbing or painkiller, I would probably administer that and then just literally be trying to like pull myself, away from the scene into some kind of dark alley. If there's like a pile of trash, I'll hide kind of in there till my boys can come get me. But just basically trying to find some kind of place to be obscured.
So we'll say that what you end up doing is you reach into your bandolier and you find that you've got a vial that is it's not so much a nerve agent so much as it is like a numbing agent. One of those things where if you used it on somebody and hit them with it, they wouldn't necessarily be able to feel what's going on to them, which would make them pretty pliable for, like a knife in the dark or something like that if you needed to. You've used these things offensively before, but what you haven't ever done is actually like cracked it open in your hand and basically started snorting the
Yeah, just port. Open wounds.
So what ends up happening is that as the chemicals fizz together and it kind of puffs up on you, those pain receptors kind of go numb, and you end up, you can feel things are broken inside of you. Movement doesn't feel right. Like trying to move in certain ways, trying to breathe, that is all really difficult now. But it is at least possible now to not, to have some mobility without, wanting to die, without hoping that this ends up killing you quickly.
Right.
So what would you do with this limited mobility that you've afforded yourself?
Like I said, I'd probably try to find some kind of, let me look at the map. I'd probably just try to see if there's any kind of small bit of a dark doorway, an alleyway, anywhere I can kind of crawl to and hide until the guys can come get me.
So what I'll say is since this all happened like right about here, you're laying on the ground. There are people now, because of Aldrich's missed shot, that are coming out of doorways, that are swarming out of there, trying to figure out what's going on. And when somebody sees you on the ground trying to cower in their doorway, they're quick to grab you up. They're quick to grab you up and pull you into their very, very tiny, horrible smelling apartment. It's more of a hovel than an apartment, but so they have removed you from the situation and basically gotten you off the street. Memphis, what are you going to do?
I mean, I'm in the middle of a fight, so I've got to fight.
You could always do that. You could certainly run.
I don't see how that's going to work. And the 4 dudes are on me. They're within arm's reach of me, or because they're beating me in melee range. And if I try to run away, you're going to make me roll prowl or something, and I'm going to fail. So, I mean, I feel like my only option is to try to fight back and hope for a miracle.
You can. I mean, if you want to fight back, that is definitely an option. You could always command them. It's worked for you before.
Yeah, I could try that, but I mean, my fighting is better, and
that's true.
Now that my harm is at 2, it says -1d. So does that mean I lose a die for every roll I make from now on?
Yeah.
So basically, if I do that with command, I have 0 dice.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm just saying, with considering how poorly the situation has turned out, I'm just trying to do what I think is going to give me the best result.
Okay. So when you're going to fight, how are you going to attempt to fight back? Are you attempting to do something flashy and something that's going to maybe try to scare the rest of them off? Are you attempting to be just as lethal as possible and or are you being more defensive and just trying to fend them off?
No, at this point it's defensive. I do have a concealed palm pistol as part of my loadout that doesn't count as the load. So I think what I'll do is, I mean, it's going to sound more like command. You could tell me, but almost like release the concealed palm pistol, point it at the dudes. I mean, I guess I could try command, even though it's going to be 0. But palm pistol in one hand, knife in the other, and just like back off.
That to me does sound like command.
It does.
Um,
Because I mean, if I roll skirmish and let's say I get lucky and I roll a 6, that's great. I take one guy out and I've still got 3 guys pissed at me.
So here is what I would say to that. You have a couple options here. You can do that. Roll the 0. Take the or roll for or take a devil's bargain, so you at least have 1. And try to do that. You can skirmish with them, and again take a devil's bargain, so you've got 3 dice, and then hope for a crit.
If I skirmish with them, I have 1 die, and if I take a devil's bargain, I would have 2.
That's true. Yeah.
And I'm not really, based on the way luck's been going, I'm not taking any devil's bargains.
Okay.
So I guess I will. And now I look at it, I have a broken arm, so I probably am just using 1 hand. So I'm going to basically release the palm pistol into my hand, point it at the guys, and say, back off, or you're next, or something like that. Just try to get them to back off by pointing a pistol at their face.
Okay, I'm going to say that this position is going to be fairly desperate. Standard effect. I mean, you do have a gun. Using command. So that's going to be a -1 die.
Yeah.
Can you do negative die?
Yeah, I got it. So a 1. Great. Dude, I hate to say it, but I'm just like ready to give up.
So these guys, you pull the pistol, and they aren't even phased, and they just keep driving you back.
Yeah.
So, while they are still closing in on you, Aldrich, what are you gonna do?
I honestly kind of think the best move for me might be to come, stay out of sight. I mean, if the Lost are coming out into the streets now, they're going to see the 4 guys with the billy clubs beating on Memphis, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna take action on that. But I don't want to be seen by the Lost on the roof, so I need to kind of stay. If I can come down the building on the opposite side toward Bridge Road.
So, coming over on. So you want to come down like on this street over here,
right?
Okay. Yeah, I would say that's going to be controlled prowl. That's the only real concern there is that you're going to be caught out by doing this, but you're in a situation where nobody's really focusing on you, so.
Okay. So controlled standard.
Yep. Okay, so when you're heading down, the only thing that does happen to you, Aldrich, is that somebody, as you are starting to head down, somebody comes up the stairs and is like, "Hey, who are you?" But you're already gone. You're already on your way, and it is not a particularly big deal to, once you're out of sight off the top of the building, to go. So we're going to do a little bit of a jump forward here. Memphis, they basically, rather than proceed to beat you more, they basically just grab you and pitch you into soap water.
Okay.
They basically think that you're already dead, so they're just dumping the body. So, with that, everybody where everybody meets back up is at the grotto. So,
How do I get out of that mess?
you got pulled off the street.
Right, but this guy didn't like Buffalo Bill me or something?
No.
It helps that we're in our turf.
I suppose.
Yeah, and you guys have been, as was pointed out earlier, you guys have been paying money up to the Lost. So it's not like they're particularly pissed at you for this. So, this dude came out of his apartment in the middle of the night, sees some woman who, he doesn't know what's happened. He wasn't standing there for the entire thing. He sees, looks like you just got run over.
Yeah.
So he's like, shit.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, back to your grotto. Everyone is severely hurt, except for Aldrich, who is...
I'm serving you guys tea.
Yeah, who is sitting there with his raven being like, God damn, wonder what happened to you guys. So, how are you going to spend your downtime now?
Healing.
Mm-hmm. And I'm physicker, so I can help everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You just if you're healing yourself, you take stress.
Seriously?
So yes. So if we want to heal the physicker, we need to find another physicker.
What was the fucking point of taking it then? I thought the whole point was
you can heal yourself, and if your stress wasn't so high, it wouldn't.
Well, let me just ask the storyteller, because basically right now I'm feeling like throwing in the towel. I seriously am, because this means now I'm probably not going to be able to work on my project. I'm going to have another session where I'm super stressed out, and we're super injured, and healing ourselves takes stress. It's like, what can I possibly do?
It doesn't cost her stress to heal us. If I read it correct, I'm pulling it up.
So,
what can we do in this? We're in a pretty fucked up situation right now. What can we do is this salvageable, or are we basically done?
I wouldn't say that it's done, but yeah, this is a difficult situation. Regarding the physicker, everyone in the crew, including Desi, gets +1 to their healing treatment rolls. Okay. Regarding healing, basics, characters, downtime.
$155. That's where it is.
Yep. When you recover, you seek treatment and heal your harm. You might visit a physicker, stitch your wounds, and soothe your mind. Recovery is like a long-term project. Your healer rolls Tinker for a PC with physicker ability, and then you mark the number of segments on your healing clock.
Anything about?
It says you may heal yourself if you have the physicker special ability, but you take 2 stress when you do so. You can also choose to simply tough it out and attempt to heal without any treatment. In this case, take 1 stress and roll 0D. Oh, so the 2 and then take the lowest.
We're screwed, man. We're screwed. I mean, I can appreciate a challenge, but God, this feels like we're done.
It's a bit defeatist. Yeah, I'm feeling it.
How do we heal ourselves? I mean, if it's a project and we're not going to complete it tonight, I'm not going to do anything the next session. I'm going to say, Memphis is chilling out and trying to heal himself. I'm not going to go out there and risk myself.
Again. So worth mentioning, you can in fact do that. Like, this is the type of situation where you can say, I'm going to roll another character and then leave my other character to do downtime activities.
Well, that's going to be something I guess I have to consider, because it's like being so close to being fully stressed out and needing to heal. So anyway,
it's kind of a vicious cycle.
It is.
She can heal you without taking stress.
Yeah.
Right, but you can just get healed without a physicker being part of the group, right? What is the benefit to her doing it?
She gets an additional. You get it. You get an
You get
additional
additional.
+1 die.
You can do it on your own.
Everybody, including you, gets an additional +1 die.
So we at least need to try that and see what happens after we roll. Maybe we'll get good rolls.
Yeah.
For one of my downtime, could I try to locate a physiker to help heal Desi?
Do we have that, or do you just get to heal automatically?
You can if you want to. If you want to do that as a downtime activity, I would count that as one of your downtime activities.
Okay. And then I'll reduce stress with indulge vice.
Okay, so you're going to indulge your vice.
I guess we could do that here. Huh? No bonus dice.
Yeah. Okay, so you reduce by your 2, 3. So you reduce your stress by 4, and then you're going to search and find a physiker for Desi.
Mm-hmm.
We'll say that's going to be a fortune roll.
Okay.
And I'll even give you an additional die since you're probably going to be searching in your known area.
So 1 die or 2?
So 2 die.
2. Okay. This one's different. It doesn't do.
Okay, so you find a physiker, but they basically are like, I can't help you right now. I can help you next time, but I can't help you tonight.
Okay.
So, you know where a physiker is now. But you don't, unfortunately, procure their...
Just drag my body over there and put a gun to his head. Just be like, you have time now, motherfucker?
That's next week's score.
But I mean, there's obviously a normal way to just try to heal without going and finding a physiker. Didn't I hear that as one of the possible downtime activities?
Recovery is like a long-term project.
If you have a clock on your character sheet, like a progress clock.
Mm-hmm.
So if you heal without a physiker, you just tick off one. You
don't get to roll. You just have to wait 4 sessions until you're back to normal.
Without the use of the physiker's extra die, yeah.
So let me read this.
Yeah, I'd like to hear this because sitting out for 4 sessions seems ridiculous.
Says, when you recover, you seek treatment and heal your harm. You might visit a physiker who can stitch your wounds and soothe your mind with anatomical science, or a witch who specializes in healing charms and restorative alchemy. If you don't have a contact or a fellow PC who can provide treatment, you can use the acquire asset activity to gain access to a healer who can provide service for the whole crew. Recovery is like a long-term project. Your healer rolls Tinker for a PC with the Physiker special ability or the quality level of an NPC, and then you mark a number of segments on your healing clock, and then it tells you how much to do. When you fill your healing clock, reduce each instance of harm on your sheet by 1 level, then clear the clock. If you have additional segments to mark, they roll over.
That is way too brutal, man. This basically Memphis is done.
So the example that they have is Cross has 2 injuries, a level 3 shattered right leg and level 1 battered. During downtime, he gets treatment from Quellen, a witch friend of the crew's whisper. Quellen is a competent healer, so the GM says they have 2 quality, which makes sense. He decides to spend 1 coin to improve the result to a critical to get 5 segments instead. 4 segments fill the clock. All of his harm is reduced by 1 level, so he clears the clock and clears 1 more segment. His level 3 harm is gone and reduced to level 2. His level 1 harm pattern is reduced to 0 and goes away, which leaves him with just the 1 level.
Mm-hmm. And since we didn't know that ahead of time, because I tell you now, I mean, hindsight's 2020, but I would have been like, the first thing you should always do when you play this game is acquire an asset and know a doctor. It's the first thing you should do.
You have one.
We have one that is nearly maxed out on stress.
Which only affects me. You still get the 2 die, and it doesn't. I don't take stress at all. It's just a benefit to you.
Yeah, I know, but then you're still.
But yeah, for me, I'm fucked.
You're still stuck in the same situation of, well, Desi sits out for 4 or more sessions because you're at a level 3. It's gonna take you at least.
If I carry that stuff, become a ghost, and then I'm a ghostly apparition.
I mean, that just seems ridiculously difficult. I mean, basically, depending on the roles, she's out for the next 5 or 6 sessions.
Well, there is a minimum amount of healing that happens. So
Okay.
So, Desi, what are you going to do?
Okay.
Because
So
you do have stress. You still have plenty of stress available.
I made sure of that for a reason. Yeah, I mean, I'll try to heal for what I can, and then I still get to reduce stress when I'm done, right?
Yeah, you can do that.
Could she indulge first? we'll carry her to the market on a litter and let her try to indulge her stress before she heals herself. Or
She
method.
could, but the issue there being that if she does that and she rolls a 5 or a 6 and overindulges, now she's got a real problem.
Yeah, it's better to take it now and then just at least reduce back to what I am than to.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true. You might as well get more stress and then indulge. That makes more sense.
Yeah. So, yeah. We'll do this healy doodly thing. Okay.
So, roll Tinker.
Okay.
Now
Controlled.
it's controlled, but you're also taking you only get one. You have to take a -1 dice because of your. Oh no, it's not. That's not clicked on there. So no, you're fine.
Okay, so controlled.
Mm-hmm.
And standard. And then it's how many? Because I've got 2 in Tinker, and then I get the 1 extra from being Physiker. So it's.
So yeah, so it's 3.
3 bonus or 3 total?
No, 3 total.
So 2 bonus.
Yeah.
Oh, that's 4.
So why did it do that?
It's fine.
Do you have a 2 in Tinker?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you only should have done 2 bonus dice.
I got you. I did the math wrong.
One, you only had 1 bonus dice.
It doesn't matter. The very first one was a 6, so that is enough to clear. So 3 segments. So on your healing clock. So you've got that. Now
And then I have to mark my stress, right? Or do you do that?
So now here is an option for you. So according to this, you can spend a coin to increase the effect.
Do it.
But we don't have that much coin.
We have
got
4.
4.
We have a full load. We have a full stash because we did so well the last time. So spend
okay. Yeah, if my team is up for it, then yeah, go for it.
Okay. So then I will take 1 coin out of the stash. Boop. That increases it to 5, which means actually overloads your clock, so that hits you to goes to 5. So broken ribs comes down to
Maybe bruised ribs.
I'll say cracked ribs.
Cracked ribs.
Your broken nose is fixed.
It's just a little crooked. That's all.
Right.
And you take the 2 stress. So now you're going to go indulge.
Yep.
Okay. So when you go to indulge nursing your cracked ribs,
yeah, I'm going to look for, I'm talking to my contact to look for like any other like pain relief or, you know, anything that will help boost my healing. Any
so you're going
so
you're
like
basically going to consult your psychonaut friend and be like, do you know any drugs? To which he's going to be like, yes.
Oh, I
yes,
thought
I do.
my vice is supposed to be the guy at the market, right?
That is your vice purveyor, but you can in fact if you take your contacts and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
You want to say, oh, I'm going to go with my psychonaut.
Yeah, if I go with the psychonaut, then yeah, obviously it's a pretty easy question for him.
Okay, so we'll say sway. It is -1 die. So it will be controlled standard. So it should just be 1.
So just leave it at 0?
Yeah. It should be -1.
I didn't see a place for negative.
It's so you rolled 3. That reduces your stress by 3.
Okay.
Yeah, if you drop down the little menu, the negatives are down at the bottom. I found them when I did my roll.
Oh, wait.
So okay, so your stress is you're healed. Your ribs are.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
So okay. Memphis, what are you gonna do?
Get healed.
Okay, so you're going to heal yourself.
Well, Desi's going to heal me, remember? Isn't that what's happening this time?
Well, it's considered an assisted heal. You're doing a heal on yourself, and I assist by giving you an extra die.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's what it is? I thought I
Yes,
heard.
I'm not necessarily
the,
like a healer. It's just my
PC rolls
skills
tinker.
boost
Okay.
your own.
So yeah, so technically, actually, yeah, no. According to this, it is actually your role, Desi.
If you're the one doing the healing, you're the
Okay.
one rolling.
You just had to explain to me. So Tinker.
Yeah, so you roll Tinker.
Like she tried to do earlier, Tinker +1, right?
Yeah.
So controlled, standard, and then
Just one.
so leave it at 0.
No.
No, +1 bonus.
+1 from your ability.
Okay.
Oof.
Okay.
Wow.
So you heal. How many slots on it? On a 1 to 3, it's 1 second.
1.
Okay. So, what are you going to do?
It doesn't count as a failure. Like you heal some regardless.
I still think it's just. I mean,
it
seems to me like it's way too intense. It's like I understand they want the game to feel really challenging and everything, but I basically feel like now this character's out. That's kind of the way I feel about it. But what can I do?
I mean, the thing that I think I'm seeing to that is it's like Final Fantasy. It gives you a chance to play like a completely different job, a completely different type of character. And then when your main is ready and rearing to go, you can put that guy on the back burner.
I get it. And I love when I play MMORPGs, I have altitis out the bazoo. I love to make multiple characters, but usually after one of them's gotten a little further along. I mean, this just feels so devastating.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but I can't not say that this isn't the result of some choices. Like when you did that, you chose to tap out the smoke shop guy because you said you were going to do that as a long-term project, and then that caused your stress to increase. And then what happened was your stress has increased. You've got some bad rolls, and now we're here.
Yeah. But what this is going to do is this is going to make me less cavalier in the future. Like I'm going to go. There's no way I'm going out with my stress level this high. So. Can't do anything.
Yeah, it does force you to be more strategic even in your storytelling versus Vampire where you're like, fuck it, balls to the wall.
Well, but that is so here's the other thing about this is you guys are treating this like stress, like I can't ever have more than that because I don't want to get trauma. Like you guys can max that out. Like that all that does is add an additional level to your character that you have to play out.
Well, we'll see. I mean, because what am I able to? Can I heal a second time, or do I have to do something different on my other downtime activity?
You may choose the same activity more than once, so you could try to heal yourself again.
Well, let's just have Desi roll me again. I mean, this is the number one thing I feel like I need to do.
Okay, then
right now, I mean, I don't think Memphis can do anything in this state.
We said it was just +1.
Yeah, it's too bad you can't re-roll like a vampire. 4 is 2.
Okay. So 4, yeah. So the other thing you can do, player characters can make time for more than 2 activities at a cost. Each additional activity from the list costs either 1 coin or 1 rep. So if you guys want to, you guys do have the option to. You've got 1, 2,
5
3,
rep.
5 rep that you can spend, and you've got 3 coin. You guys could both spend some money and spend some rep to recover.
I don't want to spend rep, but I wouldn't mind maybe dropping another coin if it means rolling it. Either does it increase the effect or does it just allow Desi to roll again for me?
So that just would allow the to roll again. But if she rolls a 6, then you can spend another coin to get the critical.
Yeah, I mean, just another heal. I mean, because basically, I feel like until I get a handle on this, I'm not doing anything with Memphis. So, and this seems like the kind of situation where we would pull from our money to try to improve
Absolutely.
this.
There's your critical.
Bam, bitch.
Nice.
So that is actually on a crit.
Finally.
Heal 5.
So that's 5, but that rolls it over. So that hits it once. So that does it twice. So that's going to wipe out both of the level. Actually, that wipes out everything.
Oh, well, there we go. Light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you, Desi.
I did something.
Actually, if you had 2 level 2s, those reduced down to level 1s. No, that would clear it all. Because level 2s would go down to level 1s. The level 1 would have gone away, and then on the second roll around, yeah, that would have wiped it. So yeah,
Nice.
so the harm's gone.
Well, that's money well spent. Now we need to acquire an asset for the future and have another doctor we can access.
That's a downtime activity, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Acquiring an asset. So
on that note, Desi, did you want to spend some coin to attempt to heal yourself more?
No, I think I'm gonna make it a project.
Okay, so
Because I completed my book.
So you're left with cracked ribs, which means if you use that character on another run, you will have a -1 die on all your rolls. And that's pretty shitty.
she could play a different character for the next session too. You know.
You can. I'm just noticing that as we're learning the game, that the possibility of bad things happening are very severe.
Yes, that's why they said, or at least when we were going over it with Knox, he said that you do go through characters like you
It's
expect
meant to
go
be,
through.
yeah.
It's not.
Yeah, I mean, I
But
get that.
I agree. It
understand.
seems too soon. It's like you just want to feel out this first one.
Also, going through characters is fine, but I'm also noticing that the rate of gaining XP is very slow.
Yeah.
So you have to take a lot of risks for what amounts to not a great amount of reward, and then if you abandon your character, you're starting over, so you lose all the XP gain.
You did get 2 XP from desperate rolls tonight, BTW.
Yeah, I did. I already marked those.
Okay.
So basically, let's look. If you want to look at my prowess as an example, I have 3 in the prowess bar. When I get 3 more, I get to add 1 dot to one of those skills in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that seems like it's kind of a slow XP game for a lot of risk, which is fine if that's the way the game is, but it makes the whole swapping characters thing a little more of a penalty in my mind than I initially, I guess, I thought. But that's all right. We'll figure it out.
Did I have a desperate tonight? I thought
You did not.
I didn't. Okay, I thought for some reason one of them was. I thought the roll on the carriage was desperate.
Yeah, I was going through all the rolls, and he's the only one who had anything. So we've got a couple of.
Sorry, as far as for XP, addressing a challenge with tracking or violence, I don't think I get the XP for the Raven because that was a failed roll, correct?
I would say that, yeah.
Yeah, but then the sniping the TikTok and then throwing the table.
I would say that counts as the violence.
It's okay.
So
you struggled with issues from your vice during the session. Don't we do that every time?
Bit of a habit.
And this, you expressed your beliefs, drive, heritage, or background. What is? I mean, I'm not sure how to interpret that. You see the one I'm talking about, Knox?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's just playing into the character of your heritage and your background.
Well, that's what I did with the whole military background. Or is that interpreting it too liberally?
I think it's a little liberal there. Charging into battle and saying, well, I did it because I was in the military.
Well, no, the reason I'm not saying it retroactively, when we were talking about the way I was playing Memphis, I was saying this is because of his military background. I was saying that at the time.
Mm-hmm.
That
I
mine,
do remember that, so I'll give you the one for it.
because again, my initial reaction playing the way I normally play was going to be to hang back and try to be more careful. And
Also, worth mentioning, because I know everybody is stressed about stress. But notice that the one at the bottom, you struggled with issues from your vice or traumas during the session. Having traumas is actually a way to get XP.
I'm noticing I might just let myself have one just to see what it's like. Anyway, okay. Well, that was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So we still have a little bit of time. So there's a couple different things that we can do here. You guys can go and seek out another score. You guys can do some prep to find something for a turf for, say, next time. You guys can attempt to go after another crew again, or you guys can go and do another project.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not really interested in doing any of that. I'm still trying to figure out what I want my approach to be, because basically my plan tonight was to play it careful, and I didn't, and then relieve stress during my downtime, which I was unable to do. So now I'm still rolling with heavy duty stress. So I don't know. What do you guys think?
Alternatively, I mean, if you guys would rather call it for the evening, I mean, we have completed a score, kind of.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I'm in that frame of mind. It was kind of traumatic. I think I'm kind of ready to say, nah, let me process all that before we get to the next step.
Yeah, it's a lot to digest. I mean, it's obviously not as easy to be impulsive as it is in Vampire. You know, in Vampire, we can very much throw caution to the wind and just, screw it, you know? And
Well, we're
here,
also still learning, you know.
Well, and that was one of the things, is like things that, I mean, obviously you couldn't do it because of the circumstance. But flashbacks have basically never been a factor for you guys. You guys haven't used those.
I have, like,
we-
twice.
Well, you used one, and then we decided not to go with it, because remember, that was when we did the boat thing. But I used one last time for us to set up the ambush on the bridge.
But the other thing I was going to say is also, well, again, and this doesn't really count for you, Memphis, because your stress was so high. But like Desi, you could have resisted the circumstance on the cart. You didn't have to take that damage.
Yeah, but remember, the alternative with the roll would have left her in really bad shape. And kind of same thing.
I
with
had
me.
to weigh it against the worst case scenario, and the way you described it, it was going to be hella worse than just crawling away licking my wounds.
Yeah, after rolling several ones in a row, I get very shy to take chances.
Mm-hmm.
I know it doesn't make any sense, because obviously every die roll has the same chance, but still rolling several ones in a row, I'm just like, fuck it. Mm-hmm. I'm done. I'm not taking any more chances, you know.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's kind of like that thing, you know, we're learning the game. We really are. Like right now, I'm thinking to myself, if I were starting this over, one of the first things I would do is go find an asset and get a good doctor. Kind of like when we played the Cyberpunk game, and one of the things that I did was find a gunsmith, because I had all that advanced weaponry. Without that, I would have been in a work. Well, now we definitely need a healer contact in addition to Desi, for just when this kind of stuff happens.
You know,
you still need to get a vice purveyor.
Yeah, I know.
Also, it doesn't look like our crew has earned any XP beyond like 1. Our crew has 1 XP.
Yeah, we need to figure out a way to get more XP on our crew so we can get extra people.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, we're still learning. I'm sure there's some things we're missing. We're obviously not optimum, because it's a thing we're all learning. What does our deity do again?
Is a dream beyond death?
Okay, I'm not sure how to express it because it's one of these things for Mark XP is advance the agenda of your deity or embody its precepts in action. I'm not really sure how that is a thing. Contend with challenges above your current station.
We did that tonight, I think.
I would agree with that. I'll take you one for that.
Yep.
See, like this, express the goals, drives, inner conflict, or see some of these just to me, I'm just like,
They seem kind of vague.
yeah, they're almost like there's got to be more to it because otherwise it seems like it'd be way too easy unless we are making it harder on ourselves to get XP than we realize. I mean,
Would I not be communing with our deity when I'm healing? Would that not be a religious experience for
I'm
me?
not sure. What does the dream beyond death even mean? I'm not. We got to figure that out so we can express it when we play.
I mean, so some of these I would lead to say is where you guys need to, and I know this is going to be kind of one of those things. It's like where role playing comes more into it, like because the descriptions of the gods are literally one line. It literally is a name in the back of the book, and then so
Yeah,
it's
we have to figure that out.
Yeah,
And
so it's what is that god for you? What does that mean?
Yeah,
I
like
mean,
on
me,
a call
when
it
I-
says name your deity and describe it with 2 features from the following list. And we chose alluring and monstrous.
oh, that's right. So obviously, I was an alluring monster tonight. Clearly,
I mean, I don't know if I would say
My
monstrous.
friends were.
You were certainly alluring. You certainly caught a lot of fucking ass kicking.
Yeah, I was like, hey, come over here, fella.
Hey, big
like-
boy.
On my class, one of the ways I can get XP is that you address the challenge with calculation or conspiracy. So I'm like, okay, I got to figure out how to work all the conspiracy angle into everything I do from now on. So anyway, all right. Well, that's a lot of food for thought. Even though it was very brutal, it still, is a learning situation.
Now I'm starting to think we should always just have a backup character. That way when a night like this hits, we're like, new character sheet, let's go.
Well, and the other part about that is this is one of those things where, you guys did this with 3 people. Like if you guys had an additional person on the crew, how much would that have changed things?
Yeah.
Would you?
Right.
We're talking to you, audience. We're talking to you, chat, lurkers. We always have a spot open in the game for somebody.
That's why
And
I was
the other part of
cohorts, but we need crew XP to get cohorts.
Right, and the other thing I was going to say is maybe that should something to say about this is, and this is my first time GMing for this as well, so maybe this indicates how the progression of the game should be going. Maybe instead of being like, yeah, well, we're gonna just try out everything. Maybe now what the real progression of the game is we need to start staking out territory and start moving our tier up so we can get more people back.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And like when we see a cart with 6 guards, we go, never mind. What's another thing we can do?
Yeah.
Because I also feel like I'm kind of trying to act like we're a big gang before we're a big gang. So,
I mean, there's something to be said for saying, yeah, you guys are all hardened criminals, but just because you guys are individually hardened criminals doesn't necessarily make up the difference between.
Yeah.
Everybody else out there probably is too.
On the flip side of that, last session, you fucking kicked down a door and decided to start gutting people left and right and managed to take over the effectory. So
yeah, so that was good. I guess we're paying the price for that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, cool. That was good. Good learning experience. I'm gonna go cry now.
Right. I'll go cry in the shower.
Shower beer.
Shower beer.
well, all right then. Then we will be back on Monday for Vampire the Masquerade. I am chuckling inside, frankly, that if this is brutal, then y'all making it through Mothership.
Oh man. When he says expect to die, truly expect to die.
Yeah, there's what is the thing for Mothership? It's solve, survive, I cannot remember.
Reincarnate.
No, there's three things. They all start with S, and it's of those three. It says pick one.
Oh Lord.
Like
Wow.
the expectation is not everybody's making it off the boat
Yeah, intense.
right before you get licked by the giant head.
Ooh.
Nice.
Ew.
Fun.
So, all right, then we will see you all very shortly.
Yep.
Yep.
And yeah, get out early.
Yeah. Well, everybody, thanks for joining us. It was fantastic chatting with you guys. We will get raided over to a friend, so just hang out, and I will see you guys tomorrow for Jackbox Party Games, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you hopefully tomorrow. Bye.
Later.